This is the euro dollar against 9 currencies using the RSI set at 3 period because 2 period was a little bit too whipsawed looking. So the 3 period to me is the ultimate overbought oversold indicator, and really it's about now and then. So this is now. All these slots are right now what's happening on the 4 hour 4 hour euro dollar against 9 currencies. So the point being, if you're really trading RSI, you don't care if you know how it works. You don't care about then. You just care about now. So then would be zooming in, all right? And the only reason you would look at this is for historical structure support, or the fact that you want to prove to yourself that RSI indeed does work, and how it works and what it looks like when it does work, and what a reversal is and what divergence is. So you can see divergence a lot of times on a 3-period RSI. I don't see the point in a 5-period RSI because you're going to miss all the trade signals. So I see the 14-period RSI, and yeah, it works, but guess what? Not a lot of signals, not a lot of money to be made. I want to see as many trades as I could possibly see on the 4-hour chart where I can pull the boom button. So I'm looking to get in windows that last 10 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour. Now the 1-hour chart, you got to be quick on the draw. On the 4-hour chart, you can be an old man in a wheelchair. So you can just get there when you get there, or just not even show up. Right, just put pendings in. That's the best way to go. So I drew this on the euro dollar. Now this is the major, most liquid one. And another thing to notice here is if you look at the RSI, the ones that have the most jagged, insane kind of behavior are the bizarre pairs with the bizarre spreads. Of course, over in the Mexican, with this, I think this is Turkish Mexican, pretty dramatic. Of course, at 100 pips, I think the spread on here is 170 pips or something insane. Of course, I guess they're not pips at that point. It's such a big number. I don't know what the hell it is, but I don't trade that. I just trade the euro because I can build my trade plans around very tight spreads, and of course it's wide as hell here. 15 pips on close out of El Pari. I guess it's just the punishment of volatility of that sell-off. But if you go into the this view of what is the most oversold, the Canadian dollar has got to be the winner, and this Turkish whatever. This Canadian dollar. Now let's go to the daily and see what this looks like on the daily. Of course, I'll probably have to delete. Well, see, not so much. Look at, see, I don't really have to change these trend lines. See how they fit in. And at this view right here is really, if you're living in this world, the daily world, you know, you really can see the strength in the RSI. You can see the RSI relative strength. Of course, relative to the last move. So it's indexed against close. That's why I have this as close. In the gray area, it kind of gives you an idea how fat a stop you're going to need on these pairs. So if you want to trade this Euro Swiss, you're going to need at least this gray area is going to be your stop. So, you know, you need at least a 25, maybe a 20 pip stop, 15 pip stop on that. This one, you're going to need a pretty healthy 30 pip stop. This one looks like you're going to need a 50 pip stop on Euro to New Zealand so they don't take you out of your, if you're a trend trader. And this one looks like you need a 1,000 pip stop or some insane thing. Here, Turkish lira, some crazy stop. But here's, so this one's the first one turning the corner, it looks like. Looks like the euro's going to win against the pound here, divergence-wise, for the next, well, those Fridays closed, so here's the first divergence you can draw here. This one hasn't diverged yet, euro against the dollar, but had to buy it anyways. It's too cheap. Looks too good on the 1 hour, so actually got into it based on the 1 hour. Got down here, come back. As long as it doesn't take out these lows, But the idea that you have all this, the first time MT4 lets you do this charting, actually, you can do this MT5, but there's no need if you really believe in this RSI, which I do believe in it because it works if you work it. It's kind of like AA, I suppose. But you have to, you have to set up for it. And see, this is a buy signal right here. Right here we have a pullback in RSI, and we have no pullback in price. So the euro against the Swiss looks like the first euro pair to really take off and start pounding. The euro start to pound the Swiss. And this doesn't look like it's done tanking. Euro to the CAD. Looks like we could come down another 100 pips, so I'd put a buy limit right there. Buy limit there, just walk away. Sure, they'll fill you. This one's turning the corner. This one looks like the first one to take back to the daily. So this one's leading, I would say, as far as the first reversals here. Euro Swiss on the daily. Your first signal that you have. So if this is the top bottom on the daily pivot, with the confluence of not only this, actually it's this guy to here, and then there's another line. So there's actually two signals built into that, or two reasons to buy that. You got a top bottom here, plus you have a top bottom from this one. So this is kind of getting ready to, we've already broken the long-term trend line. So we're taking that first step out of the gate. Broke out this triple top, came back, found support. It's oversold. It has to hold in here. That's the daily. If you go to the 4-hour, Euro Swiss still looks like it could still do a spike. So you need to have a stop of like about it looks like a 20 pip stop, 10 pip stop maybe, to survive some of this. It's a pretty quiet pair, pretty tight spread on close there, but I guess if you were in that a little bit, leading the way out of the gate. This one's setting up for reversible. We haven't got there yet. This looks like a major consolidation. Euro to Australia. Certainly losing its steam to the south side, but far side can come down into pull back into this breakout here like it does in price, then basically RSI gets to say this number. This top becomes a bottom in RSI. So there would be a reason to buy. I guess you need a reason to buy this stuff, right? Or sell it. And the pound has the first one with divergence. Of course, if it fails, it's going to be pretty brutal. I don't see any support until you get down to way down deep here. Of course, this is typically how it rolls. Come down to this big pivot down here, possibly. Not to say you can't buy this top bottom right how we're at, and have a pending here in case they take it down one more notch. But I wouldn't overcommit to that. I guess I'd let them stop me out. I guess you put a stop down here. But your reward ratio is going to be, your first exit is going to be here. So you're looking to play the ricochet off when it gets caught in this trap, which is usually what happens to these markets. They get caught in a trap underneath previous support levels. For instance, if you placed a bunch of pendings to buy here and just walk away with 50 pip bounce scalps built in, right? But I think this may be over too. I think this we have to have 2 more days maybe pull back. Ideally, I'd say right here, or certainly the buy zone for me. At least in the scalp zone on the 1 hour, for God's sake. But Yeah, so that's going to be, I remember when this thing was getting crushed down here, the all-time lows. Look at this RSI. Kind of looks like a buy, huh? So RSI works. You just have to, there's the weekly. There's a nice divergence. Daily and weekly agree. Of course, it doesn't say they can't do the old smash and grab like here. You can see this wick here. I fixed all the scales, so it's not exactly set up in the usual way. If you drill down on this, coming really tight, just try to turn on the handles here so you can see what you're paying for this thing. That's a 100 pip wicks. You got some serious wicks if you're going to hold through these weekly swings, but that is just a mess. Absolute mess. And I guess the only way to clean that up is to zoom in a bit and just prove to yourself RSI works. Not that you would, you know, this is pretty, this is a weekly chart, so you have to be on the daily to find your entries here, but just in the crudest sense of buy low, sell high. In other words, anything under this 20, you're buying. Of course, if you started buying here, you're just getting clobbered, right? But you make it all back if you had enough money, of course. That's why I think you scale into these trades. You buy a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. Now, that goes on for like, oh, that's like how many weeks of, 10 weeks of punishment if you were buying into that. You zoom out, see where you're at in the bigger structure. See if that would have made sense. That one's definitely scary. Of course, you made it back if you had scaled in properly. Kind of hard to resist buying about. Well, if you bought the bottom here, if you restrained your buying to saying that this is going to be a double bottom, so you buy here, and either they stop you out at 100 pips, or you've got enough money in the account where you only bought like a little bit here. You bought a 1K, then you bought a 2K, then you bought a 3K, you bought a 4K, 5K, whatever you can afford, and then of course by down here you're really loading the wagon. So every time it drops 100 pips, you're loading up. And I guess you could have waited, had you had the patience and the foresight, for it to touch this. Not likely my patience. That's like a year and a half of patience, or well, from here to here would be, I guess 6 months you waited for this entry. But holy mackerel, you know, even the guy that started buying early through these, I don't know if this is the all-time low on this thing. That's quite a, golly, that's really kind of telling me something. I think that New Zealand is going to be like, just going to crush every currency on the planet, looks like. So yeah, that's, anyways, I guess I'm off track, but I just want to show you the RSI 3 period, just looks like a buy. Weekly RSI 3 period with a monthly RSI, some buy zone. Not to say it can't go lower, but you know, when in doubt, drill down to the 1 hour and look for the latest entry. Just like the Euro dashboard. Now this has got a nice buy signal. Pull back. Price hasn't pulled back. And just go to the 1 hour. Forget it. You're not going to live long enough to get that next entry on the weekly anyways. You probably get hit by a truck tomorrow, so just, you know, just scalp it. Make some money. It's a 24-hour market. If it's a 24-hour market, just run this just run the 1 hour chart, dashboard, RSI. Just go like this. Don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. Don't trade these guys. Spread will kill you. Yeah, so if you had to make a decision right now, you'd go like this. Here's your buy. 1 hour buy signal. Just buy it. Just buy that. Buy it when they stop out the guy here. Buy his stop on the wick. Notice the giant wick on the euro to the pound. That's a reason why you need to manage to stop there. Look at the noise on this. Does this tell you something? Look at this garbage. These are all trades, right? I don't know how much that's moving though. There's the spread. Spread looks pretty nasty. Alright, what's the point? What's the spread on this? Christ, I don't know. Some insane amount. But, yeah, so just, look at the 1 hour. This should tell you the character of that thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at that. It's barely moving. Okay. Don't trade anything but the euro dollar. It's just not worth it. Look how clean these signals are. Just beautiful.